Feel it before you understand it. You're walking home at night. The street is empty. No footsteps, no voices, no movement. Then a strange feeling crawls across the back of your neck. Someone is watching. You turn around. Nobody. Yet your heart beats faster anyway. That feeling isn't unique to you. It happens to millions of people across every culture on Earth. It appears in children who are too young to understand danger. It appears in soldiers, hikers, office workers, and people sitting alone in their own homes. But why? How can your brain react to eyes that might not even exist? The answer doesn't begin in a modern city. It begins hundreds of thousands of years ago, when the difference between noticing a stare and missing one could decide whether your family lived to see another sunrise. Because long before humans feared ghosts, cameras, or strangers on the internet, we learned to fear becoming someone else's target. Imagine Eastern Africa around 200,000 years ago. The afternoon heat shimmers above endless grasslands. Acacia trees cast thin patches of shade across dry earth. A river cuts through the landscape, drawing animals from every direction. The air smells of dust and wet mud. Insects buzz constantly. Somewhere in the distance, vultures circle. A small group of early humans steps carefully through tall grass. They aren't the strongest creatures here. They're not the fastest. They're certainly not the biggest. Almost every predator on the plain could kill them. Lions, leopards, hyenas, even crocodiles waiting beneath still water. Every step carries uncertainty. But here's something surprising. Most predators don't attack the moment they see prey. They watch first. A lion may spend 30 minutes observing a herd before making a move. A leopard might remain perfectly still in a tree, tracking every movement below. Being watched was often the first stage of being hunted. That simple fact shaped the human brain more than almost anything else, and traces of it are still inside you. Scientists studying modern predators have found that stalking depends on attention. Before the chase comes observation. The hunter studies weakness. Who is distracted? Who is isolated? Who isn't paying attention? For ancient humans, recognizing that silent attention became a matter of survival. You didn't need to see the predator, you only needed to notice that something had changed. The birds suddenly stopped singing, the antelope froze, monkeys erupted into alarm calls. Even the wind seemed different. Your ancestors evolved in a world where tiny changes carried enormous meaning. Missing one could be fatal. Natural selection rewarded brains that reacted early, very early. Even if that meant reacting sometimes when nothing was actually there. Imagine hearing a rustle in the bushes. Perhaps it's only the wind. Perhaps it's a leopard. If you ignore it and you're wrong, you die. If you run away and you're wrong, you lose a few minutes. Evolution consistently favors the second mistake. Psychologists call this a false positive. Nature often prefers unnecessary fear over deadly confidence. Your anxious brain is, in many ways, a survival machine built by countless generations who survived because they assumed the worst. But predators weren't the only problem. Eventually, humans became the most dangerous observers of all. Around 300,000 years ago, our ancestors didn't simply compete against nature, they competed against one another. Different human groups crossed paths. Sometimes they traded, sometimes they shared knowledge, sometimes they fought. And every encounter began the same way, watching. Who are they? How many are there? Do they carry weapons? Should we approach or should we hide? Long before words were exchanged, eyes gathered information. Anthropologists believe social awareness became one of humanity's greatest evolutionary advantages. Reading another person's attention wasn't just useful, it became essential. Because unlike lions, humans could deceive. A smile could hide aggression. Silence could hide an ambush. Looking away could be deliberate. Our brains gradually became experts at reading faces, body language, posture, and gaze. Today's social intelligence is built upon millions of years of carefully watching those who are watching us. Now imagine nightfall. The fire crackles softly, orange light dances across tired faces. Beyond the circle of light stretches complete darkness. You hear insects, an owl, branches shifting somewhere beyond sight. Your group sleeps in turns because someone always has to watch. Darkness hides eyes. Predators know it. Rival humans know it. Your brain knows it too. Even today, many people feel strangely uncomfortable sitting with their back toward a dark doorway. Others instinctively choose restaurant seats facing the entrance. Some dislike windows behind them after sunset. These habits seem modern. They're probably ancient. Researchers studying environmental psychology have repeatedly found that humans naturally prefer places where they can observe without being easily surprised themselves. You can see echoes of this in architecture, military strategy, even cafe seating. Our surroundings still whisper to instincts forged on prehistoric landscapes. Then something extraordinary happened. Humans began living in larger communities. The danger changed. It wasn't always predators anymore, it was people judging people. Being watched no longer meant only physical danger, it also meant social danger. Would others accept you, trust you, help you, or reject you? For a hunter-gatherer living in a small band, exclusion could be devastating. A lone human rarely survived for long. You depended on everyone else. Food, protection, knowledge, childcare, fire, everything came from the group. That meant reputation became a survival tool. Being watched now carried entirely new consequences. Every action could influence how others treated you. Slowly, our brains evolved remarkable sensitivity to social observation. The fear shifted. Not only, something wants to eat me, but also, what do they think of me? This ancient pressure still shapes modern life. Think about how your behavior changes the moment you notice someone watching. You straighten your posture, adjust your clothes, change your facial expression. Maybe you stop singing. Maybe you suddenly become aware of how you're walking. None of this requires conscious thought. Your brain does it automatically. One famous psychological finding illustrates this perfectly. When researchers simply placed pictures of watching eyes near honesty boxes where people paid for drinks, donations often increased. The images weren't real observers, yet many people behaved as though someone might be watching. Scientists continue debating exactly why this happens, but it suggests our brains respond to signs of observation with astonishing speed, sometimes faster than reason itself. Neuroscience offers another fascinating clue. Deep inside the brain sits a collection of structures often associated with detecting important or threatening events. One of them, the amygdala, responds rapidly to emotionally significant information, including faces and direct eye contact. This response often occurs before we're fully aware of what we've seen. In other words, part of your brain begins evaluating another person's gaze before your conscious mind catches up. That's incredibly useful if the gaze belongs to a predator, or an enemy, or someone preparing to attack. Your ancestors didn't have time for lengthy analysis. Fast decisions kept them alive. Modern neuroscience suggests we still carry that rapid warning system. Only now, it activates during job interviews, public speaking, or walking into a crowded room. The world changed. The brain didn't change nearly as quickly. But there's another mystery. Why do direct eyes feel so powerful? Across much of the animal kingdom, staring is rarely neutral. Among wolves, primates, and many other mammals, prolonged eye contact often signals challenge or dominance. Chimpanzees may interpret an intense stare as aggression. Dogs frequently avoid direct eye contact with unfamiliar dominant individuals. Even many prey animals carefully monitor where predators are looking. Direction matters. Attention matters. Eyes matter. Humans inherited much of this ancient language without realizing it. Sometimes love begins with eye contact. Sometimes conflict does too. The same behavior can signal affection, curiosity, dominance, threat, or trust. No wonder our brains pay such close attention. Now fast forward thousands of generations. Cities replace forests. Streetlights replace campfires. Cameras replace hidden predators. Social media replaces village gossip. Yet the old instincts remain. You check who's viewed your profile. You wonder who read your message without replying. You feel nervous speaking before strangers. Millions of invisible eyes seem to follow us every day. Technology changed faster than evolution. The brain still reacts as though every audience might influence survival. Not because being embarrassed today is life-threatening, but because, for much of human history, social rejection carried real risks. Evolution rarely throws away systems that worked. Instead, it adapts them to new environments. Sometimes imperfectly. Here's one of the greatest twists. Many people believe they're constantly being watched. Psychologists call one version of this the spotlight effect. Experiments repeatedly show that people greatly overestimate how much others notice their appearance, mistakes, or awkward moments. Wear an embarrassing shirt into a room. You'll probably assume everyone noticed. Most people didn't. They're busy worrying about themselves. Ironically, our fear of being watched often exists because everyone else shares the very same fear. It's an ancient survival system creating a modern illusion. Does that mean the feeling is meaningless? Not at all. That instinct still protects us. It encourages awareness in dangerous situations. It helps us detect suspicious behavior. It strengthens cooperation. It shapes empathy. Without sensitivity to other people's attention, human societies would function very differently. But understanding where the feeling comes from changes how we experience it. The next time you sense invisible eyes on your back, ask yourself a question. Is your brain detecting real danger, or simply replaying an ancient survival program written long before cities, schools, offices, or smartphones ever existed? That tiny moment of curiosity gives your rational mind a chance to catch up with instincts millions of years older than civilization itself. Perhaps the most remarkable part of this story isn't that humans fear being watched. It's that we inherited this feeling from ancestors who survived impossible odds. Every cautious glance over a shoulder, every instinct to scan a crowded room, every sudden awareness of another person's gaze carries echoes of forgotten grasslands where unseen eyes could mean the end of a bloodline. Your nervous system is, in many ways, a living museum. Inside it are memories that aren't remembered, lessons that were never spoken, warnings carved not into stone, but into biology itself. So tonight, if you suddenly feel as though someone is watching, remember this. The feeling may not belong to the world around you. It may belong to every human who survived long enough to become your ancestor. And perhaps the strangest thing of all, the oldest pair of watching eyes was never behind you. It has always been inside your own mind.